ओके, प्लान करना है। VS कोड। ये हो गया, ये हो गया, ये हो गया। लिंक्स वगैरह क्लिक कर दी, हो गया। इसमें हमें कॉन्टैक्ट का बनाना है, प्रोडक्ट अपलोड करने हैं हमें अभी। प्रोडक्ट अपलोड करने हैं और ये कॉन्टैक्ट का वो मीडिया से लिंक करना है। ओके, अपलोड प्रोडक्ट। प्रोडक्ट अपलोड हो गए, नेक्स्ट जेएस हो गया। क्या करना था आज? करना है पावर कंपास। लीड हो गई, नेक्स्ट जेएस लिंक हो गया। सेस क्या करना हुआ? सेस डे 1 पर हम इवनिंग में फिर बुक फोटोज और बुक हो गई, फोटो तो हो गई। टाइम बचा तो फिर नेक्स्ट कंप्लीट कर लेंगे। 10 वीडियो देखनी है नेक्स्ट के लिए। ओके। Next year, right? Server component and security improved data fetching. Data access server side resources, reduced bundle sizes. Render once and हाँ ठीक है RSC lifestyle पहले request यूआरएल से बैच करता है फिर React के पास जाता है वो RSC payload बनाता है which is the request then React renders the server component with any scheduled component and converting them into a special JSON object RSC payload use the RSC payload to generate HTML और stream करती है और RSC payload भी stream होता है जिससे आगे आगे layout वो करते हैं मैच करेगा RSC payload रेंडर करेगा यहाँ से RSC पेलोड मिलेगा मतलब मिल गया जनरेट करेगा HTML वो स्ट्रीम करेगा HTML फिर RSC पेलोड भी स्ट्रीम करेगा RSC पेलोड की वजह से वो आगे क्या कहते हैं वो करना है जैसे हाइड्रेशन वगैरह भी कर सकता है हेलो आर्यन क्या चल रहा है फॉर डी फैच के लिए वो जनरेट HTML नहीं करता है इधर फिर से जनरेटेड होती है वो बस री रेंडर कर देता है लाउड को सर्वर साइड रेंडरिंग स्ट्रेटजी स्टैटिक रेंडरिंग डिफ़ॉल्ट होती है built once automation is how to statically render prefetching running background automatically prefetch for static route the entire route prefetch or cache by the ठीक है static rendering summary डायनामिक रेंडरिंग में अगर हम कुकीज़ URL हेडर्स वगैरह कुछ भी यूज़ करते हैं तो वो बार बार हर इसमें करेगा और स्ट्रीमिंग जब हम सस्पेंस वगैरह करते हैं यूज़ होता है शायद से राइट ओके ओके RSC क्लाइंट हो गया था डायनामिक रेंडरिंग हुई थी स्ट्रीमिंग हुई थी सर्वर एंड क्लाइंट कंपोनेंट नहीं कंपोजिशन सर्वर ओनली कोड की नोट्स बनाने थे कितना करना है थोड़ा देख लेते सर्वर ओनली कोड थर्ड पार्टी पैकेजेस कॉन्टेक्स्ट प्रोवाइडर 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 दो 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 10 की है 10 कैशिंग डेटा तक खत्म करना है आज कैशिंग डेटा फिर कितनी रहेंगी आज खत्म कर दूंगा ये सर्वर ओनली कोड राइट
In pattern, let's talk about the separation of server-only code. When building Next.js applications, certain code is intended to execute only on the server. For instance,
बैकग्राउंड में कुछ नहीं चल रहा सही है क्या बताऊं क्या बता नहीं कह रहा है क्या चीज़
might have modules or functions that use multiple libraries. Use environment variables, interact directly with the database, or process confidential information.
आरू लाइव व्हाट द फक है क्या ये चीज? एक सेकंड में चेक तो कर लूं पहले, मुझे कोई आइडिया नहीं है। स्क्रिप्टेड soul/souls.today। अच्छा, चैनल वगैरह के लिए फॉर स्टार्टअप डोमेन। अच्छा, किस चीज़ का स्टार्टअप है? तो मान लो थोड़ी डिटेल्स वगैरह उससे रेलेवेंसी के हिसाब से देखते हैं नेम। स्टार्टअप की थोड़ी सी डिटेल्स दो। पर जब भी डोमेन वगैरह लाइव और ये टुडे वाली डोमेन में ज़्यादा प्रेफर नहीं करूँगा, कोई जनरली बोल रहा हूँ, है ना। जितनी भी डोमेन में खरीदी या तो .in खरीदना बेटर रहता है। लेट्स यू चैट विद एआई अवतार रियल पर्सनालिटीज और इवन फिक्शनल कैरेक्टर्स। अच्छा, तो मेरे हिसाब से तो नाम रेलेवेंट नहीं लग रहा। .com नहीं है तो .in या .ai काफ़ी सही चल रहा है इस वक्त मेरे हिसाब से तो। क्योंकि अब एआई से तुम रिलेटेड कर रहे हो तो aru.live से जो भी है ये AURU अगर RU, इससे सेंस नहीं बन रहा है ना। मैं डोमेन देख के कह नहीं पाऊंगा कि ये एआई अवतार का कुछ है। 16K का है तो अलग अलग नाम में होगा ऐसे। गोडैडी से देखूंगा अगर हम नाम करें एआई, अगर कुछ ऐसे chat.ai या कुछ भी www.chat.ai ऐसा करके कुछ। कितने का है ये 10,000 का है। ये बहुत ज़्यादा वो है। चैट की जगह नेम क्या हो सकते हैं? एआई पावर प्लेटफॉर्म डायरेक्टली चैट विद वर्चुअल करके कुछ, वर्चुअल चैट करके कुछ इस कीवर्ड से। वर्चुअल चैट वगैरह .org.ai, ये AI 5,000 का चल रहा है। हाँ तो AI या .in जैसे ये डोमेन है वर्चुअल डबल सी चैट तो नहीं, पर ऐसी कोई डोमेन सर्च करके देखो मिल जाएगी मेरे हिसाब से तो। क्योंकि ये जो नाम आपने डिसाइड करे हैं इनसे पता नहीं लग रहा है ना कि ये आपका स्टार्टअप किस किस चीज़ के लिए है। मेरे हिसाब से मिल जाएंगी डोमेन थोड़ा सा सर्च करोगे तो। और .org भी एक तरह से ठीक रहती है, पर .com .in और .ai भी सबसे बेस्ट। .io भी एक ठीक है थोड़ी सी, है ना। .co भी सही रहती है, इतनी ख़राब नहीं रहती .co। पर ये जो .shop .club, ये ऐसा लगता है कि अगर तुम्हारा कोई बंदा आएगा। हाँ तो मतलब वो मैं एग्जांपल दे रहा हूँ, बस एग्जांपल दे रहा हूँ मैं। आप अपने हिसाब से कर सकते हो, उसमें कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। पर ये है कि ये जो .live है या .today है ना, ये थोड़ी सी ऐसी लगती हैं, ऑथेंटिकेटेड नहीं लगती, है ना, जितना मेरा एक्सपीरियंस है अब तक इन चीज़ों से। मैं 3-4 डोमेन खरीदी हैं तो मैं कभी ये .live वो मतलब जो मैंने नहीं सुनी तो मैं नहीं लेता, ऐसा है। और मैं अपने आप में देख के देखता हूँ, अगर मैं कोई .live या इसकी डोमेन में जा रहा हूँ तो मुझे रिस्क रहता है कि हैक वगैरह या जो भी वायरसेस वगैरह, तो उस हिसाब से सोच के लेना।
Since JavaScript modules can be shared between both server and client components, it's possible for code that's meant only for the server to unintentionally end up in the client. If server-side code gets bundled into the client-side JavaScript, it could lead to a bloated bundle size, exposed secret keys, database queries, and sensitive business logic. It is crucial to
certain code need to be executed, sir. Okay, bye bye. Have a good day. So only certain code is intended to execute only on the server. You might have module the functions that you
separate server-only code from client-side code to protect the application's security and integrity. To prevent unintended client-side usage of server code, we can use a package called server-only to provide a build time error if developers accidentally import one of these modules.
to make sure we are not using server only. Only runs on the server and
into a client component. Let's dive into VS Code and understand with an example. Let's begin by creating a server and client component. In the app folder, create server route /page.tsx. Define a simple React component using pieces extension. Pieces explorer, TypeScript, insert an Next.js page component. Next, in the same app folder, create another file, client route /page.tsx, and insert another React component using pieces. For the server component, let's call this server route page. And for the client component, client route page. And at the top, add the use client directive. Since we will be creating plenty of client components in the future, let's convert this into a pieces snippet for future use. Pieces, save to pieces. Next, in the source folder, create a new folder named utils with a file, serverutils.ts. Here, let's define a function intended solely for server-side use. Our focus here is on the concept of server-only code, not the function's implementation details. Therefore, we will create a function with a simple log statement and return a string value. This function
the fuck यार lag क्यों कर रहा है आज? क्या हो गया?
might depend on various NPM packages or custom utilities designed for server-side logic, use environment variables or API keys that shouldn't be exposed to the client side, make calls to a database to retrieve data, or process business logic, algorithms, or calculations that should remain on the server side. We return the result. Now let's import and invoke this function in a server component, which is our page.tsx file, the server route folder. So within the component, const result is equal to server-side function with parentheses, and make sure to import server-side function from utils/server-utils. For the JSX, let's define result to a paragraph tag. Let's also add the log statement. Server route window. Back in the browser,
folder
we navigate to localhost 3000.
Open folder. Rendering करके. Next rendering. Rendering. Yes, sir. क्या थी? Create command क्या थी यार? npx created next app थी हाँ. Oh. Cannot create because of npm name cannot be. अरे यार ऐसे कर दे अंदर कर दे इसके my app नहीं टाइपस्क्रिप्ट नहीं लेंट कर लेते हैं नो यस यस would you like to customize no इंस्टॉल कर भाई तब तक तो मैं देखूं
slash server route, you don't see the log message in the browser. We do see it in the terminal because the page component is a server component. I hope this is clear. Next, let's include the function in our client-only route. And this is a client component. So const result is equal to the pod server-side function, bind result to a paragraph, and of course import the function at the top. We'll also add a log message, client route rendered, similar to the message we had for server route. Back in the browser, if we navigate to slash client route, we see the log messages in the console. We do see them twice because of React's strict mode, which we can safely ignore as the build application would output only once. In the terminal, you also see the same log statements, as every client component is also rendered once on the server to generate the initial HTML. However, given the nature of the operations in server-side function, it's crucial to ensure that this code executes only on the server. If this code were included in the client-side bundle, it could lead to performance concerns due to the larger bundle size and applications, which could degrade the user experience. Additionally, it could pose security risks due to sensitive logic and data exposure, and could lead to functional errors, as some server-specific logic might not work as intended in a browser environment. To ensure that this function remains server-side only, we can use the server-only package. In the terminal, run npm install server-only. When we import server-only in a module, it ensures that the module causes a build time error if it is included in the client-side bundle.
npm server only okay npm I server only अरे यार
Import server only. Now, if a developer accidentally imports this module into a client-side component, like our client route here, you can see the build process will fail, alerting them to the mistake and preventing potential issues.
और उसके बाद वो करना है ना to make sure that a code in a file is only used in server side components we use on the top of the page में क्या होगा use dog server ये तो होता है server import server only okay import server only okay
Component, like our client route here, you can see the build process will fail, alerting them to the mistake and preventing potential issues related to exposing server-only code to the client. You can see the error in the browser as well. In summary, maintaining a clear boundary between server-only and client-side code is crucial, especially when dealing with sensitive operations for data. Using the server-only package enforces risk separation and helps maintain your application's security, performance, and reliability. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.
third
For
party
our
में
second
भी
server component pattern, let's explore the integration of third-party packages. Since server components introduce a new
यार लैग कर रहा है यार क्या हो रहा है CPU पे लोड पड़ रहा है 100 the fuck तब तो ये dev का बंद कर देता हूँ लोड हाँ से बहुत पड़ रहा था
Third-party packages in the ecosystem are gradually adapting, beginning to add the use-time directive to components that rely on client-only features, marking the
third party packages
clear distinction in their execution environment. However, it is important to note that many components from NPM packages, which traditionally leverage client-side features, haven't yet integrated this directive. The absence of use client means that while these components function correctly in client components, they may encounter issues or might not work at all within server components. To address this, you can wrap third-party components that rely on client-only features in your own client components. Let's dive into VS Code and understand with an example. For this,
dog
third-party components that rely
third party clear only features marking a clear distinction environment many components from npm packages which traditionally leverage client side features have been integrated The absence of mean when these third party client only features. We can wrap third party component that rely on client only features in their own client component. Okay. Third party packages. Top
On client only features in your own client
dog.
components. Let's dive into VS Code and understand with an example. For this example, we will use
अरे
the React
यार
Slick
ले
NPM
कर
package,
रहा है
which
क्या
exports
बोल
a React carousel.
We face problems when a third party package is run on server side component when it uses client component provided features. मैंने लिख लेते हैं heading हो गई. Control U.
Let's dive into VS Code and understand with an example. For this example, we will use the React Slick NPM package, which exports a React carousel component. The carousel component uses client-side features. First, install the packages. React Slick, Slick carousel, and the packages. So npm install React Slick, Slick carousel, add types/React Slick. Next, scroll down and open the playground example. Copy and paste the sample code. Copy the code from image slider.jsx to client.
रुको. Notification हो गई.
Which is a client component. Start with the imports, followed by the JSX. We can remove the CSS import line and instead copy the CSS from image slider.css to globals.css. Finally, if you're having problems with case kitten, can we replace this with pixem.photos? In the browser, if you visit localhost 3000/client route, you should see the first image. In globals CSS, change the color from black to white, and you should see 2 chevrons. Now, all the images remain the same, but the carousel is working as expected. Back in VS Code, let's now try to integrate the carousel directly into a server component. In the browser, if you're having problems with CSS from image slider.css, to remove the CSS import line and instead copy the CSS from image slider.css to globals.css. Finally, if you're having problems with case kitten, you can replace this with pixem.photos. In the browser, if you visit localhost 3000/client route, you should see the first image. In globals CSS, change the color from black to white, and you should see the 2 chevrons. Now, all the images remain the same, but the carousel is working as expected. Back in VS Code, let's now try to integrate the carousel directly into a server component. So paste this same code into the server route h.tsx file. First the imports, and then the component code. I'm going to comment out server-side function from the previous video. If we go back to the browser and navigate to localhost 3000/server route, you'll notice an issue. This is because the slider component is using client-side features, but the library code doesn't have the useClient directive. One solution is to add the useClient directive within the server route, but then you cannot use server-only features like database calls, secret environment variables, etc. To resolve this, you must encapsulate third-party components that depend on client-only features within your own client components. Okay, rewrite the code in server route, and instead in the components folder, create a new file, image slider.tsx, copy and paste the same code as before, including the useClient directive at the top. In our server component, we can now
to solve this problem, start. Instead of wrapping the whole third-party packages in a use client, we simply make another client doc, client side file for the third party package and render it on our server side page. Sir.
Simply invoke the image slider component. So we still have the server component, but now with one nested element behaving as a client component. If we head to the browser, we can see /server route. We have the carousel working as expected. Next and previous. We will see the same message from Pixum, but if you have local images to work with, you can see the different images as part of the carousel. In summary, third-party packages in the React ecosystem are in a transitional phase where numerous components from NPM packages have been adopted to use client directive.
God damn.
Our own client components will allow us to leverage the ecosystem of third-party packages while adhering to the new server components model. All right, thank you for watching. If you're enjoying the content, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next video.
Okay. Context provider, ये interesting होगा.
For our last server component pattern, let's explore working with context providers. You know from React that context providers are typically rendered near the root of an application to share global application state and logic. For example, the application theme. However, since React context is not supported in server components, attempting to create a context at the root of your application will result in an error. To address this, you can create a context and render its provider inside a separate client component. Let's dive into VS Code and understand this with an example. In the Next.js application, the root file is layout.tsx in the app folder. Here, let's create and provide a theme context for our entire application. Import, create context from React. We're going to define the theme type. It's going to be colors, which is an object with primary and secondary colors. Define the default theme, which is of type theme, primary and secondary. And then const theme context is equal to create context of type theme. The initial value is default theme.
Okay.
In the root layout.jsx, we wrap the body tag with themecontext.provider. Value is going to be the default theme, and we close themecontext.provider. If we save the file and head to the browser, we see an error. We're importing a component that needs create context. It only works in a client component, but none of its parents are marked with use client to their server components by default. To resolve this, we could convert layout.tsx to a client component by using the use client directive at the top. We also need to make sure we comment out metadata in client component. Our home page now renders. However, this approach signals to Next.js that this component, which is the layout file, along with any component it imports, is intended for client-side execution, which is not what we want. To fix this, we need to create our context and render its provider inside a separate client component. In the components folder, create a new file called themeprovider.tsx. Since we have seen the code already, I'll paste the code to save us some time. We have the theme type, the default theme, and the context from before. Then export the theme provider component that returns themecontext.provider with the default theme as its value. It will then render the children props. I've also imported the use context hook at the top and exported a use theme hook that returns the theme in any consuming component. The most important step is to include use client directive at the top of the file. Back in layout.tsx, we can now replace all the newly added code with the theme provider component. So remove the create context import, the theme type as well as the default theme, and the creation of the context. In the JSX, we can now wrap our body tag with theme provider, which we can import from components/theme provider. And to make sure this works, in the client route page, which is a client component, let's consume and use the theme context. So const theme is equal to use theme, and we can return an h1 tag, client route, where we set style as an object with color theme.colors.primary. In the browser, if we navigate to localhost 3000/client route, we should see client route in the primary blue color. If we change to theme.colors.secondary, we see it in gray. It is important to note that even though we wrap the rest of the application within a client component, server components down the tree will remain server components. We will discuss this in an upcoming video, but this is essentially how we work with context providers and server components. You don't convert a server component to a client component. Instead, we define a new client component and invoke it within the server component using children props. Right, let's dive into client component patterns next. Thank you for watching.
अगर डैशबोर्ड बना रहे हैं हम, कई सर्वर कंपोनेंट होंगे, कई उसमें क्लाइंट कंपोनेंट होंगे. डेटा फैचिंग उधर से हो जाएगी, हम पहले फैच कर रहे हैं. ऑप्टिमाइजिंग रीड कैसे होंगे अगर मुझे रीड ऑप्टिमाइज करने हैं फायरबेस के. हम कॉन्टेक्स्ट की अप्रोच कर रहे थे, तो कॉन्टेक्स्ट हमने यूज़ करा, हमने सब में रैप कर दिया. यूज़ कैसे करा था?
Component, and we can return an h1 tag with color route where we set style is an object with color theme.colors.primary. In the browser, if you navigate to localhost 3000 slash client route, you should see client route in the primary blue color. In the browser, and the creation of the context. The children. We then export a theme line, theme provider component that returns theme context.provider with the default theme as its value. It will then render the children props. I've also imported the use context hook at the top and exported a use theme hook that returns the theme in any consuming component. The most important step is to include the use client directive at the top of the file.
अगर थीम कंपोनेंट है अब मुझे इसमें से सर्वर साइड में अगर मैंने मान लो नाम लिया सर्वर साइड में मैं नाम ले चुका हूँ या डायनामिकली रेंडर कर सकते हैं उन राउट को सर्वर साइड कंपोनेंट में व्हाट्सअप ब्लेजिकन can we use can we get data from context in a server side component it does not support the use of same whether the reason server cannot have the stable it is possible to use context values in server component in my mind usually abstraction layers how's the startup going अभी तक तो एकदम बढ़िया भाई अभी टेक स्टैक थोड़ा इम्प्रूव कर रहे हैं टेक स्टैक इम्प्रूव करने के बाद पहला प्रोजेक्ट बनाएंगे फिर उसे मार्केट वगैरह करने के बाद देखते हैं कैसे इम्प्रूव हो सकते हैं और आगे रूट लेआउट किसी ने देखा ही नहीं है आप बताओ आपको क्या चल रहा है yes you can get it modern development framework define the context हाँ कर दिया use my context use context in use effect से कैसे हो जाएगा यार हाँ नहीं मैं ग्लोबल स्टेट वो तो पता है मुझे मतलब कॉन्टेक्स्ट तो मैं बना लेता हूँ वो तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं है पर मैं अभी नेक्स्ट पे थोड़ा सा वो टेक्स्ट स्टैक मूव करने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ नेटिव रिएक्ट से तो उसमें क्या है कि कॉन्सेप्ट होता है ना सर्वर साइड और क्लाइंट साइड कंपोनेंट का और सर्वर साइड कंपोनेंट हुक्स यूज कर नहीं सकते नहीं नहीं वो चैट जीपीटी का उसमें थोड़ी उसके लिए क्योंकि मुझे उधर स्टैक ओवरफ्लो पे कुछ मिला नहीं था ना तो मैं थोड़ा आइडिया लेने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ वैसे चल जाता है अगर मैं ज़्यादातर अपने प्रोजेक्ट्स के लिए जब भी काम करा है मैं यूज़ तो करता ही हूँ उसे fetching data get server side props setting or express necessary general wrapped the fuck तो ये इसमें क्या है कॉन्टेक्स्ट अब मैंने कॉन्टेक्स्ट अगर मैंने लेआउट में डाल दिया और मुझे सर्वर साइड कंपोनेंट में मुझे उसका डेटा फैच करना है पर मैं हुक यूज़ नहीं कर सकता सर्वर साइड कंपोनेंट में तो वो कैसे फैच करूंगा डेटा क्योंकि अगर हमने अभी मैंने एक रीसेंट फायरबेस से प्रोजेक्ट बनाया था तो उसमें सबसे मेन प्रॉब्लम क्या जा रही थी कि जब भी कोई पेज पे नेविगेट कर रहे थे हम बार बार तो क्या हो रहा था कि वो फिर से री रीड कर रहा था क्योंकि वो पेज वो क्या था उसमें एक फंक्शन था जो फैच कर रहा था फायरबेस से डेटा तो बार बार री रीड कर रहा था कैश होने के बाद भी है ना अच्छा 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 ओके सॉरी 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 The problem is that I'm trying to fetch data from the context that is defined in a above level, and obviously to a server side component. If you know Next.js, you'll get my problem because in server side component we cannot use hooks like state or use context. So it is typical to fetch data of the context using use context because they are not the hooks usage is not available in server side components. So the end server side component are better for SEO and performance and keeping and security. So I prefer to use server side component over client side component in every case, except if there is some interactivity in the page, obviously. So that's what I'm trying to figure out, how to get the data from the context defined above. And this is because I made a web application a few months back for a company's dashboard, right? So the problem was that uh, whenever we were going to a specific route, and there was a function that ran, that fetches data from Firebase or any other database, and that fetching then and every fetching of and every time the function run, a read is added to Firebase. So the amount of read correspond to the amount of money Firebase charges. So our goal was to optimize reads, so we use context with React Fast API. Oh, React Fast API. I'm not actually familiar with React Fast API. React Fast API, React app with how to build Fast API. Is a Python web framework designed for building fast and efficient. अच्छा backend Python backend. Okay, I get it. Python से backend. So we use Firebase for our backend. So to optimize the reads to Firebase, we were using context to fetch all the data that was necessary first, and instead of fetching every time when a person is navigating to the route. So using context data in server side component in Next should be very important for me, because in order to optimize the reach and not lose money, I need to do it, right? Or I can find any other solution if you have any other suggestions to optimize reads instead of using context, right? We can, I think Next caching is very good, so we can obviously cache the data, but I also need a real time context also. It's no Firebase. You can call it a API, but Firebase is a non-SQL database storing mechanism, right? So we are currently we're currently trying to learn a SQL one, uh, b- uh, and Firebase is powered by Google only. So I think it's really good. I think the pricing and it's easy to use for you know a backend beginner like me. I'm not really familiar with backend. I'm just focusing on front end right now. After I complete my next, I'm planning to move. I'm planning to master TypeScript, then Tailwind CSS. Then I'll be learning Prisma, and then I'll be learning Supabase. Okay, you think of it as a server. I get it. But in order to optimize read, I think I need to think of something else instead of using context in Next.js, because I don't think it is really possible, or it is really advised to use context in a server side component. Oh, it's not about artists, I guess. You could say it's for artists, but designing and developing front end is a different thing. In our team we have a separate designer, so I don't need to worry about how the application looks, because our designer needs to worry about that. I just need to worry about the performance and SEO and other stuff of the application, right? That is my main goal. And if we are doing a project, we need to optimize the reads, how we fetch the data in order to save money, because we are not very rich. I guess we are just starting, so I don't want to lose money on some lousy ass code. Startup React app, use Startup Express. Kya, this is fucking stupid.
Back in layout.tsx,
Optimizing Firebase reads in what Firebase reads kya? Backend reads in Next.js. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So in Firebase, the number of requests you give to the database, or you provide to the database, it correspond to the number, the amount of money they charge to you. So that's what I want to minimize. Configure caching, incremental static generation when possible, integrate analytics or APM tool, setting a login system, enable error handling, backend optimizing backend क्या बोल सकते हैं, minimizing बोले, minimum backend read in Next.js, right? In Next.js, if I don't want to work like Next.js and Remix. Yes, most people with Next.js, हाँ वो तो है. Shut the fuck up. Caching, so there on every request by default Next.js automatically caches. अगर मैं real time storing some of the values into the about low storing some of the values in local storage, it greatly drops the performance of the application, right? So I prefer not to store anything in the local storage, and also the data is, storing in local storage is very risky, because you're storing it into the machine itself, right? Onto the browser, I should say. So it creates a security risk as well, and it is not very optimal for front end. I only store, simple things into local storage, like the name of the user or their username and everything else like that, not the data I want to fetch from the database, right? Local storage is one solution, but it's not as optimal as using context. Vegeta, some server via route handler. देखते हैं.
we can now replace all the newly added code with
Do you want to give me a job? I don't have a job to give, bro. Do you want to give me a job? That's what you should ask me. I don't have a job to give to anyone. I guess you can join our Discord, so you know we could help each other in our journeys, right? How long have I been doing front end? I've been doing front end for around 6 months, I guess, and with some projects, not always learning courses. So it takes time for me to master some things. I need to do projects. I've done around 2 to 3 projects. I've made 3 websites for my company and for my friends, right, for my startup, and one external project and 2 or 3 more personal projects. So I'm finally moving uh, to learn higher level frameworks, so I can master front end as quickly as possible. Because in our projects we do not need a complex backend. We are just trying to store some, you know, uh, some basic data and make some basic fetch request calls, not anything fancy. So our main focus is to learn front end. How about programming? In general, for if you say how long I've been learning programming, or how long I've been aware of programming, I would say around what 3 years, I guess, from class 11th. But from in class 11th and 12th, I didn't learn anything. When I graduated from high school, I started learning after 6 months. So I've been learning programming for 6 months only, you could say. I've before JS and HTML, before front end, I learned C++ and some Python. What am I trying to build? I am trying to build. We are currently in a yesterday's stream. We currently started a new project for project management, and we are for that we are trying to build, improve our tech stack. 60 hours a week. I do not count my hours a week, bro. I just complete my tasks however many hours it takes. So
Theme provider component. So remove the create context import, the theme type as well as the default theme, and the creation of the context. In the JSX, we can now wrap our body tag with theme provider.
using context. Okay. What have you guys been doing? Are you guys doing any projects or anything like that? Context providers.
Provider. And then
If we want to use you eman, you like work day. What are you trying to say? I don't get it, bro. You eman like work day. I don't get it. What are you trying to say, bro?
theme context is equal to create context of type.
We have two options. We have two global variable for. No, I get what contexts are. What contexts are. Lurk, Workday, the platform. I'm not familiar with Workday. So for basic in question, I get what contexts are. What my question is, when I was using native React, I was able to, freely provide the global states to any of my children component. But the thing with Next.js is there are two types of components, right? There are server components and there are client components. So for server component, we are not able to use hooks, and to utilize the data provided by the higher level context, we need to use hooks. So that was my problem. I'm not able to use I'm not able to get the data from the context while using the server side component. And I need to use context to optimize the number of reads from the backend. That is the main problem that I'm facing.
Theme.
We have two ways to approach this. First, we can initialize the component, the context in a. I use React.js and I use hype for Next.js. I use this hype for Next.js. I see this hype. Okay. What made Next.js so popular? Next.js is the staple for front end development right now because of the the freeness or freedom to render your components or to optimize your components, right? In native React.js there are only client components. And the problem with client component is is that they have not really good SEO and not really good performance, because everything in native React.js is rendering on the client side browser, right? And we don't want that, because if we download each and every single line of our code in our client side in our client side browser, it greatly reduces the efficiency. I can obviously see the trade-offs. So yeah. So what is your question? I think the main reason because because of the server components, I guess, because you can maintain the server component. And for better SEO, SEO is greatly increased in Next.js, because you render everything first. Because of static rendering, you render everything first when you deploy the application, and with that, the SEO crawlers get to see the data early, and they can rank you higher in the browser, or in the search engine.
Initial value is default theme. And finally, the root layout CSS.
We can layout file, and then we can initialize the context in a layout file, and then convert it to a client component. Uh, do you have any recommendation for SQL database like Supabase for backend? Because we are going to make a project with Supabase, and if there are any more secure or famous alternative, we would like to use that. I could only find Supabase that was appropriate. ChatGPT will put you down in an endless rabbit hole. I guess you could say that, because sometimes ChatGPT just gives us rubbish. But I think for you know simple things like optimizing, no, not I would not optimize with ChatGPT. Like simple thing like fixing a simple error if you do not have any idea how to fix it. I think it helps a lot. Yeah, Supabase. Any alternatives for Supabase if you have any? It's not recommended, because then every children of the Postgres, I've heard about it. I've not tried it actually. Postgres. The most open source database, suppose is free open source relation database management, emphasizing stability and SQL. I see. It's really famous. I've heard about it. We could consider using it. And let me see the documentation first. Documentation. You use Postgres. Okay. Tutorial getting started the SQL language, SQL, data manipulation, data definition, queries, inserting data. Okay, lots of cool features. Yeah, I guess we could use Postgres. I have to ask my team though. I'm not a backend specialist. I have to ask my brother for it. So I think thank you for the recommendation though. No. Then every children of the layout becomes a client component. This is a better source for learning. What what is a better source for learning? The second approach is to define the context in a SQL. Yeah, I guess, yeah, it is better. SQL is better, indeed. But for our last project, we were not really familiar with the advanced concept of SQL, right? So we opted for NoSQL database. But yeah, this time we are learning and we are going to use SQL database. I sent a link earlier to answer your question. Where did you send it? In the chat or are you in the Discord? Discord. Define the context in a separate client side file. In the Discord. Nice. For UI generation, what is this? Okay, could be helpful. Off topic. Where did you send the link for my answer? ChatGPT and the rest of it all. It's not in here. In a separate client side file and render it. Use it in the layout server component.
We wrap the body tag with theme context dot provider. Value is going to be the default theme, and we close theme context dot provider. If we save the file and head to the browser, we see an error. You're importing a component that needs create context. It only works in.
Okay, I'm not gonna. I don't think a better documentation than this. PostSQL documentation. This is querying data select column. Right, I know about this filtering. This is basic stuff. Step 3, joining multiple tables, right. Sure, grouping data, set operations, grouping sets, subqueries, common table accessions, modifying data, transactions, import, export. I know some of this because I learned it in my classes. Thank you for the link.
Client component, but none of its parents are marked with use client. They are server components by default. To resolve this, we could convert layout.tsx to a client component by using the use client directive at the top. We also need to make sure we comment out metadata in client component. Our home page now renders. However, this approach signals to Next.js that this component, which is the layout file, along with any component it imports is intended for client-side execution, which is not what we want. To fix this, we need to create our context and render its provider inside a separate client component. In the components folder, create a new file called themeprovider.tsx. Since we have seen the code already, I'll paste the code to save us some time. We have the theme type, the default theme, and theme context creation from before. and then export the theme provider component that returns theme context.provider with the default theme as its
create context theme के type का default theme रख दिया उसका default value default theme export const theme provider children दे देगा react theme context dot provider value equal to default theme what the fuck that's fucking bullshit
value. It will then render the children prop. I've also imported the use context hook at the top and exported a use theme hook that returns the theme in any consuming component. The most important step is to include the use client directive at the top of the file. Back in layout.
dog no हटाओ
.tsx, we can now replace all the newly added code with the theme provider component. So remove the create context import, the theme type as well as the default theme, and the creation of the context. In the JSX, we can now wrap our body tag with theme provider, which we can import from components slash
context
the tag with value is bucks. Entire application. File is layout. Find the default of type theme and the initial value with theme context dot provider. But none of it's to the client component by using the use client directive at the top. We also need to make sure we comment out metadata and client component. Along with any component tickets and render it the default theme and theme. Seen the code already. I'll paste the code to save us some time. We have
type use नहीं करना है
type, the default theme, and theme context creation from before. We then export a theme provider component that returns theme context.provider with the default theme as its value. It will then render the children. Blocks. I've also imported the use context hook at the top and exported a use theme hook that returns the theme in any consuming component. The most important step is to include the use client directive at the top of the file. Back in layout.tsx, we can now replace all the newly added code with the theme provider component. So remove the create context import, the theme type as well as the default theme, and the creation of the content. Which we can import from components/theme provider. And to make sure this works, in the client route page, which is a client component, let's consume and use the theme context. So const theme is equal to use theme. And we can return an h1 tag, client route, where we set style as an object with color.
Client route, server. Export default function. Doc. Client only code. The fuck? ठीक है. इसमें use client use करेंगे.
Theme.colors.primary.
क्लाइंट में है। ओके, मिल रहा है हमें। टाइप ग्रीन मिल तो रहा है। यही चीज़ हमें धर करके देखें तो क्या होगा। थीम और कंसोल करके देख लेते हैं। यूज थीम इज नॉट डिफाइंड। इट्स नॉट अ फंक्शन। हाँ भाई, नहीं चलाएगा अगर मैं इसे क्लाइंट में कन्वर्ट कर दूँ। यूज क्लाइंट तो चल जाएगा, चलेगा। हाँ मिल रहा है ये। अब इसको कमेंट करेंगे, नहीं चलेगा। क्या टैम, क्या फ़ायदा। गर्मी हो तो भैया।
In the browser, if we navigate to localhost 3000/client route, we should see client route in the primary.
कंट्रोल बी यू आई। डॉग। मेरा फोन ओवर रीड कर रहा है, उन्होंने हॉटस्पॉट खुद ही ऑफ कर दिया। हटाओ सब, फिर हॉटस्पॉट चलने दो। यूट्यूब। अर्ली।
Blue color. If we change to
यूजिंग इट इन ओके। भाई गर्मी, God damn, गीला हो गया मैं पसीने से। Fuck. User getting a base layout file. सिनेरियो की स्पेलिंग क्या होती है? What the fuck? Scenario, okay.
Theme.colors.secondary. You see it in gray. It is important to note that even though we wrap the rest of the application within a client,
Damn. Dog.
Component. Server components down the tree will remain server components. We will discuss this in an upcoming video, but this is essentially how you work with context providers and server components. You don't convert a server component to a client component. Instead, you define a new client component and invoke it within the server component using children clause. All right. For our first client component pattern, let's talk about the separation of client-only code. In an earlier video, we dived into the concept of server-only code in Next.js applications. In this video, we are flipping the script to focus on client-only code. Just as it is important to restrict certain operations to the server, it's equally important to confine some functionality to the client side. Client-only code typically interacts with browser-specific features like the DOM, the window object, local storage, etc., which are not available on the server. Ensuring that such code is executed only on the client side prevents errors during server-side rendering.
This one.
To prevent unintended server-side usage of client-side code, we can use a package called client-only. Let's dive into VS Code and understand with an example. From earlier, we have server route, which is a server component, and client route, which is a client component. Let's remove the React select code from before. Now with these in place, let's introduce our client-only function. In the source folder, within the utils folder, create a new file named clientutils.ts. Here, let's define a function intended solely for client-side use. Once again, our focus is on the concept of client-only code, not the function's implementation details. Therefore, we will create a function with a simple log statement and return a string value. The function name is client-side function, and this function might depend on various browser-specific features like the window object and local storage, which are of course not available in a server-side context. We return client result from this function. Now, let's import and use this function in our client route component. The const result is equal to client-side function. Make sure to import the function at the top. And within the h1 tag, you can bind result. I will remove the style now, as white font color is better for readability. When this component is rendered in the browser, you should see the function log messages in the browser console. This confirms that the code is executing on the client side as intended. Now, let's safeguard our client-only code by installing and using the client-only package. So in the terminal, run the command npm install client-only. By importing client-only in a module, we ensure that the module triggers a build time error if it is mistakenly included in server-side code. Now, if someone accidentally tries to use our client-side function in a server component, the build process will fail. The const client result is equal to client-side function, and we are invoking the event tag you can bind result. I will remove the style from the top, and within the h1 tag, you can bind is and return a string value. The function name is client-side function, and this function might depend on various browser-specific features like the window object and local storage, which are of course not available in a server-side context. to return client result from this function. Now let's import and use this function in our client route component. So const result is equal to client side function. Make sure to import the function. At the top, and within the h1 tag, you can bind result. I will remove the style for now, as white font color is better for readability. When this component is rendered in the browser, you should see the function log messages in the browser console. This confirms that the code is executing on the client side as intended. Now let's safeguard our client-only code by installing and using the client-only package. So in the terminal, run the command npm install client-only. By importing client-only,
PMI client-only.
so in the terminal, run the command npm install client-only. By importing client-only in a module, we ensure that the module triggers a build time error if it is mistakenly included in server-side code. Now, if someone accidentally tries to use our client-side function in a server component, the build process will fail. So const client result is equal to client side function, and we are invoking this function in server route, which is a server component. In the terminal, you should see the error, which acts as a clear signal to developers about the inappropriate use of client-specific code in a server context, thereby preventing potential errors when the application adheres to the intended architectural patterns. When we navigate to /server route, we should once again see the error. In summary, just as server-only code needs isolation, client-only code. For our second and final client component pattern, let's discuss the placement of client components within the component tree. This aspect plays a crucial role in optimizing the performance of your application. To compensate for server components not being able to manage state and handle interactivity, you need to create client components. It is recommended to position these client components lower in your component tree. Why is that the case? Let's head back to VS Code and find out. For this demo, I've prepared some code in advance. I've created a new route named landing icon page, and within the components folder, I've created 3 new components: navbar, navlinks, and navserve. Let me help you visualize these components before we dive into the code. Imagine a landing page with a navigation bar at the top and a main section below it. It's focused solely on the navbar. It has an outer wrapper, which is the navbar component itself, and within this navbar, there's a navlinks component for various links, and a navsearch component that contains a search bar, allowing users to search throughout our site. This forms a straightforward component tree with the landing page component at the top, the navbar and main component as its children, and the navbar in turn has navlinks and navsearch as its children. I have implemented this structure in code within our Next.js application. Let me walk you through the code. So we have our landing page page.tsx, which contains the navbar, and then the main section, which simply displays an h1 page heading. Within navbar,
Nah.